Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I filmed a super easy drugstore, well, mostly drugstore. There's like one thing that wasn't drugstore tutorial for you guys. I mainly used the must-have neutrals from Milani and I was super impressed with the quality. Such pretty colors, super pigmented. This color in particular, this like pink, is so pretty. Look at that. Such a pigmented color. And then this brown, also really great. I'm really bad at swatching. I'll get better, I promise. So, look at that. And it's super cool tone, like I'm not used to it, but I was really happy with it. I did add some glitter, so I think you can totally use this look for a night out with your girls or with bae, whatever you'd like. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comment section, as always, and thank you so much for watching. Bye. This song is so poppin' right now. I highly recommend that you listen to it. I already have my brows in place, so now moving on to the eyes. I'm grabbing this eyeshadow palette and using the medium brown in the palette to set my eyeshadow in place. Now I did realize that it's a little too dark, so instead of using the eyeshadow, I'm going to go ahead and grab my foundation powder and use that to set the eyeshadow primer in place instead. Now going in with that medium brown again, I'm going to use that as a transition shade in the crease with a nice fluffy brush. And I'm building it up just a little bit more than usual. I'm also placing it a little higher than I normally would. Because now with this medium deep brown, it's almost like a gray brown if you ask me, I'm going to be using this right below that transition shade, and I'm really going to darken it up. Now don't be afraid, because the first color that we used is our safety color. So it's going to help us blend this out without making it look too messy. Now using a more defined brush, I'm going to deepen that out even more. And this is going to lay down the foundation for the crease color and the lid color that we're going to be using later on. Using a concealer brush and some concealer, I'm going to be carving out the lid. And I'm using the concealer from LA Girl. This is such a good concealer. I completely forgot how good it was, and I'm so happy I ended up using it. This blends like a dream, and it's so highly pigmented that you don't really have to worry about going over it a million times. And you can already see that transition and that blend that the two colors from before have made. I love the contrast between the light and the dark, because I find that it helps to brighten up my eyes a little bit more. If you have a smaller lid space, this is perfect. So I highly recommend that you do it. Now that I have that guideline, I can go ahead and deepen it up even more with that muted brown and make it more dramatic. Moving on, I'm using the Revlon Eye Art in Twinkle Topaz, or Topaz Twinkle, I forget the name, but it's something like that. And I'm using the cream base and setting it on top of the concealer that we had before. I'm going to wait for this to dry for about 2 minutes before I apply the glitter. And oh my goodness, the glitter is gorgeous. I'm so obsessed. Super easy to apply. You don't have to worry about making a mess or getting a separate adhesive for it. It's all in one. And it's very pigmented. So if you're having a hard time applying glitter, I highly suggest that you go ahead and pick some of these up. Now the trick is to make sure to let it dry for a couple of minutes, because if you don't, it'll start transferring everywhere. Once you're letting that dry, you can also go ahead and highlight the brow bone and fix any little areas that just need a little bit more blending. I couldn't skip out on wing liner because I'm just back in the phase where I'm obsessed with it, so I had to do it. And I'm using the Maybelline Studio Black Gel Liner. I'm so bad at remembering the names when I don't have them in front of me, so I apologize. But this was so good. Now, to be completely honest, I love using gel eyeliner, but when it comes to glitter, it can get a little messy. So once I have that shape down, what I like to do is go on top of it with a liquid liner just to make sure that it looks nice and smooth. You can see it more on my left eye where it looks a little patchy, but then once I put the liquid liner on top of it, it looks nice and even and crisp, which is always important. Now I'm going back into the eyeshadow palette. I'm grabbing the black color just to deepen up the outer third of the eyeshadow. I'm also kind of winging it out as I go along, and I have to say I'm so impressed with the pigmentation of this shadow because it's very hard to find a black shadow that not only blends well but that shows up. So A+ on this palette. To make sure that everything is nicely blended, I'm going back in with our transition shade. And don't worry if it gets a little messy because we're going to clean it up later. And ta-da! I have lashes. These were the lashes from Coco in Queen Bee. They were the only ones that were in Drugstore, so don't kill me, but I had to use them. And I'm using the Nivea Post Shave Balm as a primer. And for foundation, the Total Coverage Custom Drops from NYX. I was actually pretty impressed. I just wish they had a better color selection. I always have complaints about the Drugstore and the foundation shades. I find that most of them tend to either go very warm or very like pink. There aren't as many neutral shades as there should be. For concealer, I'm using the same concealer that I used to carve out the lid, and this was perfect. I found that it helped to brighten up my complexion a little bit more. It blended out very well and it gave good coverage. So this was also a favorite of mine. I started blending it in with a pointed kabuki brush, but I quickly realized that it wasn't like super smooth and it wasn't the concealer's fault but the brush. So instead, you'll see me kind of like applying more product, but instead what I ended up using was the L'Oreal sponge. It's pretty new to me and I was very, very happy. I'm also using the Milani setting spray just to dampen it up a little bit more. Now, I don't know about you, but you can definitely tell that, or I can definitely tell, that it gives a little bit more coverage while still keeping it in place. Now I'm setting everything with that same sponge and using the Coty Airspun powder. I love this powder for what it does, but not for what it smells like, because it smells like a grandma. No offense to the grandmas out there, but it doesn't always smell that great. And for the other areas of my face, I'm just using a foundation powder to set it in place. The Better Skin foundation powder from Maybelline is bomb. Now, the reason why I made that face just now is because my palette is so dirty, but this is also the contour palette from Maybelline, and it's phenomenal. The bronzer reminds me a lot of the Laguna from NARS, and the blush looks just like Orgasm by also NARS. And just wipe away all that excess powder so we don't have any white cast, and blend out any harsh edges along the way. Now for highlight, this was perfect. It reminded me so much of Opal and it blended out very nicely. It didn't look super glittery, which is always a complaint of mine. So highly impressed. And for like 10 bucks, you cannot beat it. And setting everything in place with that same Milani setting spray, which smells amazing. And deepening up the crease just a tiny bit more. Now, I don't normally do this, but this look just asks for more like shadow and more depth. So I'm using the gel liner to line my waterline. I'm also going to be smudging it out with a pencil brush and using the black eyeshadow color one more time. And just blend it out. And look at the difference. I was so impressed. And I like to blend it also with a clean blending brush because I find that it helps to diffuse it a little bit more and not make it look so harsh. I had to also highlight the inner corners of my eyes with the same highlighting shade that I used for my brow bone. And last but not least, for the lippies, I used the NYX Soft Spoken Lip Liner, which is one of my faves. It's so smooth. It reminds me a lot of the MAC lip liners for like a fraction of the price. And I first went in with this lipstick from Wet n Wild in Cinnamon, but it was a little too dark, so I had to change it. And I just added a tiny bit of this liquid lipstick from NYX in the shade Push Up. So pretty. I tried not to do a nude color, but you know me, it is so hard. And of course, take my selfie breaks, and there you have it. That is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section and give me ideas for next videos. Bye!